The silence is not abandonment. You are not forgotten. Listen closely now. My child. Stay with me for a moment. Do not rush past this. Do not tell yourself this message is not for you. Do not assume the silence means you were left behind. I know the quiet you are living in. I know how loud it feels inside your chest. I know how unanswered questions echo when everything slows down. Pause now. Breathe slowly. Let your shoulders soften. The silence you are experiencing is not abandonment. It is not rejection. It is not punishment. It is not proof that you were forgotten. I am closer than you realize. My child. You expected silence to mean distance. You expected absence. You expected loss. You were taught that love speaks constantly. That care explains itself clearly. That presence is always loud and obvious. So when things grew quiet, you assumed something was wrong. You wondered what you did. What you missed. What you failed to understand. But listen to me gently now. Silence is not distance. Silence is closeness without pressure. I did not step away from you. I did not turn my attention elsewhere. I did not grow tired of holding you. I stayed. My child. I see how this silence unsettled you. How it made you doubt your worth. How it made you question your path. How it made you wonder if you were still seen. You replayed conversations. You searched your memory for mistakes. You tried to find a reason for the quiet. That searching exhausted you. And still, answers did not come the way you wanted. Because this silence was never meant to be explained away. It was meant to hold you. My child. There are seasons when words would overwhelm you. Seasons when direction would feel like pressure. Seasons when answers would push you faster than your heart could go. This is one of those seasons. Your heart needed rest before it needed instruction. Your soul needed safety before clarity. Your body needed calm before movement. So I did not shout. I stayed near. Silence is not empty when presence fills it. My child. You have been carrying so much internally. Expectations you never agreed to. Responsibilities that stretched you thin. Emotions you had no space to feel. You kept going because you had to. You stayed functional because others depended on you. You remained composed because breaking felt unsafe. And then, everything slowed. The noise faded. The distractions thinned. The silence arrived. And suddenly, you felt exposed. You felt alone with yourself. But you were never alone. I was there in the slowing. I was there in the stillness. I was there when you did not know what to do next. My child. Silence does not mean nothing is happening. It means something delicate is happening. Something that cannot be rushed. Something that cannot be forced. Something that must unfold gently. You are being recentered. Your nervous system is learning safety again. Your mind is learning how to rest. Your heart is learning it does not have to brace constantly. These changes are quiet. But they are profound. My child. I know the silence made you feel unseen. Like no one was checking in. Like no one noticed your effort. Like no one realized how tired you were. That feeling cut deeply. It made you wonder if your presence mattered at all. Hear me now. I see you. I see the strength it takes for you to keep going. I see the restraint you show when you want to speak. I see the care you give even when you are depleted. Nothing about you is overlooked here. Silence does not erase you. It reveals you. My child. You are used to proving your worth through action. Through doing. Through showing up. Through staying strong. But this season is asking you to receive instead of perform. And that feels unfamiliar. It feels unsafe to stop proving. It feels risky to rest. It feels wrong to not have answers. So you assume something is missing. But nothing is missing. You are being held without demand. My child. I know you are waiting for something to change. For clarity. For relief. For reassurance that you are on the right path. And waiting in silence feels unbearable at times. It makes you question your timing. It makes you compare yourself to others. It makes you fear you are falling behind. But waiting is not abandonment. Waiting is preparation. Your inner world is being strengthened quietly. Your discernment is sharpening. Your boundaries are forming. You are learning what drains you. You are learning what feels safe. You are learning what you can no longer tolerate. These lessons cannot be rushed. My child. If I had filled this silence with noise, you would have missed what you are learning now. If I had pushed you forward quickly, you would have carried wounds that needed care. If I had answered every question immediately, you would not have learned how to trust stillness. So I stayed quiet. Not because I was far, but because I was close enough to protect you. My child. You do not need to understand the silence right now. You only need to stop interpreting it as rejection. It is not a closed door. It is not a withdrawn presence. It is not a sign you failed. It is a pause that loves you enough to let you breathe again. Let your body feel that truth. Nothing is being taken from you in this moment. Nothing is collapsing behind the scenes. Nothing is moving without you. You are exactly where you need to be. My child. Even now, something inside you is easing. Your breath is slower. Your shoulders are lower. Your thoughts are less sharp. That is not coincidence. That is what happens when you stop being alone with your fear. I am here. Not waiting for you to do better. Not waiting for you to understand everything. Not waiting for you to be strong again. Here. In the quiet. In the pause. In the silence you feared. My child. Stay with me a little longer. Do not rush back into noise. Do not fill this space with distraction. Let the silence hold you gently. In the next part, I will speak to the fear that silence awakens. The thoughts that rise when everything slows. And why those fears do not mean something is wrong with you. Remain here. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Let us stay here in the quiet a little longer. Do not rush away from this stillness. Do not distract yourself from what is surfacing. The silence is revealing something important. Pause now. Breathe slowly. You are safe enough to listen. When the noise faded, fear began to speak. Not loudly at first. Not aggressively. But gently, persistently. Fear does not need chaos to rise. It only needs space. And silence creates space. My child. You noticed the thoughts arriving when everything slowed down. What if I am being left behind? What if nothing is coming? What if I misunderstood everything? These thoughts unsettled you. They made your chest tighten. They pulled your mind toward worst-case endings. They made the silence feel threatening instead of calm. So you assumed the fear meant something was wrong. But hear me carefully now. Fear rising in silence does not mean abandonment. It means your heart finally had room to speak. For a long time, you survived by staying busy. By staying useful. By staying distracted. Movement kept fear at a distance. But when movement stopped, the feelings you postponed stepped forward. Not to harm you. To be acknowledged. My child. Fear often appears when safety begins. Because when you are no longer in survival mode, your system releases what it has been holding. The fear you feel now. is not new. It is old fear finally being heard. Fear from moments when you felt unseen. Fear from times when you had to be strong too early. Fear from seasons when you were not supported the way you needed. Silence did not create this fear. It revealed it. And revelation is the beginning of healing. My child. You tried to silence the fear. You told yourself you should be grateful. You told yourself others have it worse. You told yourself to stay positive. But fear does not leave when it is dismissed. It softens when it is met. So let us meet it together. I am not afraid of your fear. I am not overwhelmed by your questions. I am not disappointed by your doubts. I am here with you in them. My child. Fear whispered that silence means absence. But presence does not always speak. Sometimes presence sits quietly beside you. So you can finally hear your own heart. If I had filled this space with answers immediately, your fear would have gone back into hiding. Unresolved. Unhealed. Waiting to surface again later. Instead, I stayed close. And allowed you to feel. That is care. My child. Fear also tried to tell you that you are fragile. That you are barely holding on. That one more disappointment would undo you. That this quiet might be the beginning of loss. But fear speaks from memory, not truth. It remembers pain. And assumes repetition. It remembers abandonment. And expects it again. It remembers silence. And calls it danger. Fear does not see growth. It does not see how you pause now instead of panic. It does not see how you breathe instead of collapse. It does not see how you stay present instead of disappearing. I see it. You are stronger than fear realizes. My child. Fear wanted you to believe you are alone with your thoughts. But you are not. I am here in every anxious breath. In every restless night. In every moment you stare into the quiet wondering what it means. I have not stepped away. I am closer than you think. Fear loses power when it is not faced alone. And you are not alone now. My child. There is something important you are learning here. You are learning that fear can exist. Without controlling you. You are learning that uncomfortable thoughts do not equal danger. You are learning that silence does not destroy you. You are still here. Breathing. Listening. Remaining. That is resilience forming quietly. Fear once pushed you into action. Into overthinking. Into proving your worth. But now, fear rises. And you do not immediately obey it. You pause. That pause changes everything. My child. I know you are tempted to fill the silence again. To scroll. To distract. To stay busy so you do not have to feel. But staying with the silence a little longer will teach you something precious. You will learn that fear peaks. And then passes. You will learn that your body can calm itself. That your breath can steady you. That you do not collapse when fear appears. These lessons build trust inside you. Trust in yourself. Trust in the moment. Trust that silence is survivable. Trust that you are held. My child. Fear also revealed your longing. Your longing to be reassured. To be guided. To be reminded that you matter. That longing is not weakness. It is love seeking connection. And that connection has not been severed. It has been deepened. Silence strips away performance. It removes distractions. It brings you face to face with what you truly need. And what you need is not noise. It is presence. My child. Let fear speak if it must. You do not need to fight it. You do not need to believe it. You only need to notice it. And then return to your breath. Return to this stillness. Return to the truth that you are not alone here. Nothing bad is happening right now. Nothing is being taken from you. Nothing is ending. This is not abandonment. This is closeness without pressure. Stay here with me. In the next part, I will speak to the waiting that follows silence. Why waiting feels so heavy. And why waiting does not mean nothing is happening. Remain with me. I am still here. My child. Let us speak now about the waiting that followed the silence. The waiting you did not choose. The waiting that arrived without explanation. The waiting that made every day feel heavier than it should. Pause with me. Slow your breath. Waiting is not neglect. You thought the silence would end quickly. That clarity would arrive soon. That the quiet would only last a moment. But days passed. Then weeks. And the waiting remained. And in that waiting, your thoughts grew louder. You wondered what you were supposed to do. Whether you should move or stay still. Whether action would fix what waiting could not. My child. Waiting is difficult because it removes control. It does not let you prove yourself. It does not let you rush resolution. It does not let you escape discomfort easily. Waiting asks you to sit with uncertainty. And uncertainty has always made you uneasy. You like to understand. To plan. To prepare. Waiting offers none of that. So you assumed waiting meant you were forgotten. But hear me clearly now. Waiting is not abandonment. Waiting is protection. My child. There were moments you almost rushed forward out of fear. Moments you almost said yes to things that did not feel right. Moments you almost chose relief over peace. Moments you almost returned to what hurt you. Just so the waiting would end. If movement had come too soon, you would have mistaken urgency for guidance. So I asked you to wait. Not because I wanted to delay your life. But because I wanted to preserve it. Waiting slowed you down. Before you compromised yourself again. My child. I know waiting feels like standing still. While everyone else moves forward. You scroll and see progress. You hear updates. You notice milestones. And you wonder why your life feels paused. That comparison hurts deeply. It makes you question your timing. Your worth. Your future. But the waiting you are in is not the same as being stuck. You are not standing still internally. Inside you, things are shifting. Your priorities are changing. Your tolerance for chaos is decreasing. Your awareness is sharpening. These changes are quiet. But they matter more than speed ever could. My child. Waiting is teaching you discernment. You are noticing what drains you. You are noticing what feels heavy. You are noticing what no longer fits who you are becoming. Before, you might have ignored those signals. Pushed through discomfort. Stayed where you were not nourished. Waiting is slowing you enough to listen. That listening is shaping your future gently. My child. Waiting also exposes impatience. Not because you are ungrateful. But because you are tired. Tired of holding things together. Tired of not knowing. Tired of being strong without reassurance. You thought waiting would break you. But it did not. You are still here. Breathing. Functioning. Showing up in small ways. That tells me something important. You are stronger than you think. Waiting has not erased you. It has refined you. My child. You may feel that nothing is happening. But waiting is when foundations are laid. When roots grow. When alignment forms. When healing settles deeper than surface change. If your life had moved forward quickly, you would have carried unresolved exhaustion with you. Now, you are learning how to rest. Without guilt. How to pause. Without fear. How to exist without constantly proving your worth. These lessons will protect you later. My child. Waiting does not mean you are inactive. It means you are being prepared. Prepared to choose wisely. Prepared to recognize what is safe. Prepared to move without panic. You are learning how to trust your inner signals again. That trust was shaken before. You learn to override yourself. To ignore discomfort. To push past warning signs. Waiting is rebuilding that trust. Slowly. Gently. Without pressure. My child. I know waiting has made you question me. You wondered why I would ask you to sit in uncertainty. Why I would allow you to feel forgotten. Why I would not just make things clear. Those questions are honest. They do not offend me. They reveal your longing for reassurance. And I am reassuring you now. I did not step away in the waiting. I stayed closer. Closer in the moments you sighed deeply. Closer in the moments you stared into space. Closer in the moments you whispered. I do not know how much longer I can do this. I heard every one of those moments. Waiting does not make me distant. It draws me near. My child. Waiting is also teaching you patience. Without bitterness. Before, patience felt like punishment. Like something you endured unwillingly. Now, patience is becoming steadiness. You are learning how to stand. Without collapsing. How to desire. Without desperation. How to hope. Without clinging. This patience will change how you experience life. You will no longer rush toward what feels intense. You will move toward what feels calm. You will recognize alignment without forcing it. Waiting is sharpening your sense of peace. My child. You may still feel restless. You may still wish things would move faster. You may still feel frustrated on certain days. That does not mean waiting has failed. It means you are human. When those days come, return to your breath. Return to the truth that nothing is being taken from you. Return to the presence that has been holding you all along. You are not losing time. You are gaining clarity. My child. There is nothing wrong with you because this season feels slow. There is nothing broken because answers are delayed. There is nothing missing because clarity has not arrived yet. You are in a necessary pause. A pause that is protecting your future from repeating your past. Trust this waiting. Not because it feels good. But because it is caring for you. You do not need to rush this season away. It will move when it is ready. And you will move with it. Without fear. My child. Stay here a little longer. Do not pressure yourself to know what comes next. Do not force yourself to feel hopeful all the time. Do not judge yourself for feeling tired. Let the waiting do its quiet work. In the next part, I will speak to the loneliness that often grows in waiting. Why it feels so deep. And why even there, you are not alone. Remain with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Let us speak about the loneliness that grows inside waiting. The loneliness that does not come from being alone. But from feeling unseen. The loneliness that arrives quietly. And settles deep in your chest. Pause with me now. Let your breath slow. You do not need to push this feeling away. Waiting has a way of separating you from noise. From familiar routines. From constant interaction. From the distractions that once filled your days. And in that separation, you noticed something painful. You felt alone in a way you had not felt before. Not because people vanished completely. But because fewer people understood where you were. My child. Loneliness does not mean you failed to connect. It often means you have outgrown old ways of relating. You are quieter now. More reflective. Less willing to pretend you are fine. You listen more than you speak. You feel more than you explain. And because of that, you may feel different from those around you. That difference can feel isolating. You sit in rooms and feel invisible. You speak and feel misunderstood. You stay silent and feel forgotten. That loneliness hurts deeply. And I see it. My child. Loneliness often appears when you are becoming more honest. Honest about your limits. Honest about your exhaustion. Honest about what you can no longer carry. Before, you stayed connected by overextending yourself. By being available even when you were empty. By minimizing your needs to keep peace. That kept you surrounded. But not supported. Now, you are no longer willing to disappear just to belong. So some connections feel thinner. Some conversations feel shallow. Some spaces feel unfamiliar. That does not mean you are being abandoned. It means you are being redirected. My child. Loneliness is painful because it touches your deepest longing. Your longing to be known. To be understood without explanation. To be held without effort. That longing is sacred. It means your heart is alive. And a living heart cannot stay in shallow waters forever. Loneliness is not proof that you are unlovable. It is proof that you are deep. And depth takes time to meet depth. My child. You may wonder why this loneliness feels heavier at night. Why it surfaces when everything is quiet. Why it grows when distractions fade. Because silence removes the masks. It removes the roles you play. It removes the tasks that define you. It leaves you face to face with yourself. And in that honesty, you feel the absence of being truly seen. That absence hurts. But hear me now. You are not unseen here. I see the restraint it takes for you to stay gentle. I see the strength it takes to not harden your heart. I see the courage it takes to remain open when closing would feel safer. You are not invisible to me. My child. Loneliness also teaches discernment. It shows you the difference between attention and connection. Between noise and presence. Between being surrounded and being supported. You are learning that not all company brings comfort. That not all conversations bring closeness. That not all familiarity brings safety. This awareness will protect you later. It will keep you from settling for less than mutual care. From returning to spaces that drain you. From confusing closeness with obligation. Loneliness is refining your understanding of love. My child. I know you sometimes wish someone would notice. Notice how tired you are. Notice how much you have been carrying. Notice how close you came to giving up. That wish is not weakness. It is your heart asking to be met. And I am meeting you now. I am close in the moments you feel overlooked. Close in the moments you scroll just to feel less alone. Close in the moments you whisper. Does anyone see me? I do. My child. This loneliness is not permanent. It is a passage. You are between what no longer fits. And what has not yet arrived. That in-between space often feels empty. But it is not empty. It is being prepared. You are learning how to be with yourself. Without collapsing. Without numbing. Without abandoning yourself. That skill is powerful. It means future connection will come from wholeness. Not desperation. You will choose relationships that feel safe. Not just familiar. You will recognize presence without needing to chase it. My child. Do not rush to fill this loneliness. Do not force connection just to quiet the ache. Do not settle for being half seen. You are learning to honor your depth. Depth does not attract everyone. But it attracts what is real. And real connection takes time. My child. Tonight, if loneliness feels heavy, bring it here. You do not need to explain it. You do not need to fix it. Let it rest beside you. I am not uncomfortable with your longing. I am not distant from your ache. I am not impatient with your need for closeness. I stay. You are not alone in this quiet. In the next part, I will speak to the doubts that loneliness plants. The questions it whispers about your worth and your future. And I will remind you of what has never changed about you. Remain with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Let us speak now about the doubts that loneliness plants. The doubts that do not arrive all at once. The ones that slip in quietly. The ones that sound like your own voice. Pause with me. Breathe slowly. You do not need to push these thoughts away. Loneliness has a way of turning inward. When connection feels thin, the mind begins to search for reasons. And too often, it points back at you. You start asking questions that ache. What is wrong with me? Why does this feel harder for me? Why do I always seem to be the one waiting? These questions do not come from truth. They come from unmet reassurance. My child. Doubt grows where affirmation has been scarce. When no one checks in. When no one notices your effort. When no one acknowledges how much you are carrying. The mind tries to fill the silence. And doubt becomes the explanation. But silence is not a verdict. It is not a judgment of your worth. It is not evidence that you are lacking. It is not proof that you failed. Doubt lies when it interprets silence as rejection. My child. You began to review your life. Your choices. Your timing. Your words. You replayed moments. Wondering if you did too much. Or not enough. You questioned your sensitivity. Your pace. Your needs. You told yourself you should be stronger by now. Further along. Less affected. But hear me now. Nothing about your worth has diminished. Not because you are waiting. Not because you feel unsure. Not because you are tired. Your worth was never dependent on clarity. It was never measured by speed. It was never tied to how easily life unfolded. You did not lose value when things became quiet. My child. Doubt tells you that this season defines you. That because things are unclear now. They will always be unclear. That because you feel lost. You must be off course. But seasons do not define identity. They shape it. This season is shaping you. It is teaching you discernment. It is deepening your compassion. It is strengthening your inner voice. Doubt cannot see that work. But I can. My child. You are not too much. Your depth is not a flaw. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. Your need for meaning is not unrealistic. These qualities require care, yes. But they also allow you to feel life fully. You were never meant to live numb. You were never meant to rush past your inner world. You were never meant to harden just to survive. Doubt tries to convince you that you should be easier, less affected, more adaptable. But what you are is honest. And honesty always feels exposed at first. My child. You worry that you are falling behind. That others have figured something out. That you missed. That while you paused, life moved on without you. But you are not behind. You are becoming aware. Aware of what no longer fits. Aware of what drains you. Aware of what you truly need to feel at peace. Awareness always comes before alignment. And alignment always comes before movement. You are in the middle of that process. My child. Doubt also questions your future. It asks if stability will ever come. If connection will return. If purpose will feel clear again. These questions feel heavy. Because you do not yet have answers. But your future is not built on answers alone. It is built on the foundation you are forming now. A foundation of self-respect. Of patience. Of presence. You are building something that lasts. Even if you cannot see it yet. My child. I am not disappointed in you. I am not watching from a distance. Waiting for you to do better. I am close in your doubt. Closer than the voice that criticizes you. Closer than the thoughts that question your value. Closer than the fear that tells you this is all there is. Those voices are not the final word. I am. And I say this clearly and gently. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not forgotten. You are in a season of becoming. And becoming always feels uncertain. My child. Doubt will still visit. It may return late at night. Or when you are tired. Or when silence stretches longer than expected. When it does, do not argue with it. Do not shame yourself for feeling it. Do not assume it means something is wrong. Notice it. Then return to your breath. Return to this presence. Return to the truth that you are not alone in your questions. You do not need certainty to be held. You do not need clarity to be seen. You are already known. My child. Let doubt pass through without letting it settle. You are learning how to witness your thoughts. Without becoming them. That skill will serve you for the rest of your life. It will keep you grounded. When answers are slow. It will protect you. When fear tries to lead. It will remind you. That silence is not abandonment. Stay here with me. In the next part, I will speak to trust. The trust that feels fragile right now. And how it begins to rebuild quietly, without pressure or force. Remain with me. You are still held in the silence. My child. Let us speak gently now about trust. Not the confident trust you once tried to force. Not the kind that pretends nothing ever hurts. But the fragile trust you are holding carefully in your hands right now. Pause with me. Let your breath slow. You do not need certainty to be safe. Trust feels difficult because it was shaken. You trusted effort to lead somewhere. You trusted timing to make sense. You trusted that if you stayed faithful to what was right, things would unfold smoothly. And when they did not, something inside you pulled back. Not because you stopped believing, but because you needed protection. That withdrawal was not failure. It was wisdom. My child. You learned that blind trust can cost you deeply. So now your heart stands cautiously. Watching. Waiting. Protecting itself from disappointment. I see that caution. And I do not ask you to tear it down. I ask you to soften it slowly. Trust does not rebuild through pressure. It rebuilds through safety. And safety begins here. In this moment. In this breath. In the silence you feared. My child. You may feel that your trust in me was shaken too. You wondered why I did not speak sooner. Why I allowed the silence to last. Why reassurance felt delayed. You may feel guilty for questioning. Do not. Honest questions do not distance us. They deepen connection. Trust is not pretending everything makes sense. It is staying in relationship. Even when things feel unclear. I did not leave when you doubted. I did not step away when you questioned. I did not withdraw when you felt disappointed. I stayed. Even when you felt nothing. Even when you stopped expecting answers. Even when hope felt risky. My presence does not depend on your certainty. It rests on my steadiness. My child. Trust is rebuilding in you quietly. Not through declarations. Not through sudden confidence. But through small moments. Moments when you rest without guilt. Moments when you pause instead of panic. Moments when you let uncertainty exist without collapsing. These moments matter. They are evidence that your nervous system is learning safety again. That your heart is learning. It does not have to brace constantly. You are beginning to trust yourself again. Trust that you will notice what feels wrong. Trust that you will honor your limits. Trust that you can walk away from what drains you. That trust is precious. It means you will not abandon yourself again. My child. You do not need to trust everything. You do not need to trust everyone. You only need to trust one small thing right now. That in this moment, you are held. That nothing is being demanded of you. That silence is not preparing harm. That stillness is not a trap. You are safe enough to breathe. That is where trust begins. Not in the future. Not in outcomes. In presence. Trust grows when safety is consistent. And this presence has been consistent all along. Even when you could not feel it. My child. There will be moments when fear tries to convince you. That trusting again will only lead to pain. When that voice rises, remember this. You are not the same person you were before. You are more aware. More grounded. More honest with yourself. You will not give trust away blindly again. You will offer it gently. You will listen to your inner signals. You will recognize peace instead of chasing intensity. Trust rebuilt this way is stronger than before. Because it is rooted in self-respect. My child. You are not broken because trust cracked. You are human. And humans rebuild trust not by force. But by being held gently over time. I am holding you now. In the quiet. In the pause. In the silence that once frightened you. You do not need to rush this rebuilding. Trust will return at the pace your heart can handle. And when it does, it will feel calm, not urgent. Stay here with me. In the next part, I will speak to surrender. Not giving up. But releasing the weight of control that has been exhausting you. Remain with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Let us speak now about surrender. Not surrender as defeat. Not surrender as giving up on life. But surrender as setting something heavy down at last. Pause with me. Let your breath soften. Your body does not need to brace anymore. You have been holding so much together by effort alone. Holding expectations. Holding outcomes. Holding responsibility for things you could not control. You told yourself that if you loosened your grip, everything would fall apart. That vigilance was the only thing keeping you safe. That rest would invite collapse. My child. That belief has been exhausting you. Surrender is not failure. It is the moment you stop blaming yourself for what was never yours to carry. You were never meant to control timing. You were never meant to manage every outcome. You were never meant to hold everyone together. Yet you tried. Because you cared. Because you wanted stability. Because uncertainty felt dangerous. But control has cost you your peace. My child. Surrender begins when you allow yourself to say quietly, I cannot make this happen by force. I cannot fix this with effort alone. I cannot hold everything together anymore. That admission is not weakness. It is wisdom arriving. Surrender does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop punishing yourself for what you cannot change. You can still hope without gripping. You can still desire without chasing. You can still move forward without forcing outcomes. My child. I know surrender feels frightening. Because letting go feels like stepping into the unknown. And you have already lived with so much uncertainty. But hear me now. You are already in the unknown. Holding tighter has not made it safer. It has only made you tired. Surrender does not remove uncertainty. It changes how you carry it. When you surrender, your breath deepens. Your shoulders lower. Your thoughts slow. You stop living in constant anticipation of loss. You begin to live again. My child. Surrender happens in small moments. Releasing the need to understand everything tonight. Releasing the habit of replaying every decision. Releasing the pressure to feel strong all the time. These habits once protected you. But now they are draining you. You do not need to grip the future to survive it. I am already there. My child. When you release control, you make space. Space for rest. Space for clarity. Space for peace to settle where anxiety has lived. You have been holding your breath emotionally. Waiting for the next problem. Waiting for the next disappointment. Waiting for proof that you are safe. You are safe enough right now. Nothing is collapsing in this moment. Nothing is being taken from you. Nothing requires your immediate response. Let your body feel that truth. My child. I am holding what you cannot. Even when you let go, your life does not fall apart. It has been held all along. In ways you could not see. Surrender does not make you passive. It makes you responsive. You will still know when to act. You will still feel when something aligns. You will still move when the time is right. The difference is how you move. From calm instead of panic. From clarity instead of fear. From trust instead of pressure. My child. You fear that if you surrender, nothing will happen. That you will become stuck. That life will pass you by. But surrender is not stagnation. It is readiness. Readiness to respond instead of react. Readiness to receive instead of chase. Readiness to move without fear. Peace cannot enter a clenched heart. It needs space. Let go now, even if only a little. You can pick things up again later if needed. But for this moment, rest your hands. I am here. In the next part, I will speak to peace. Not peace that waits for everything to be fixed. But peace that settles in you even while life is still unfinished. Remain with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Let us speak now about peace. Not the peace you promised yourself would come later. Not the peace you delayed until everything made sense. But the peace that can exist right now, even while life is unfinished. Pause with me. Let your breath slow naturally. Peace does not rush to arrive. You told yourself you would rest once things settled. You believed calm would come after clarity. You assumed peace required resolution. So you kept waiting. But peace was never meant to wait that long. Peace is not the reward for endurance. It is not something you earn by suffering quietly. It is not dependent on answers. Peace is presence without resistance. My child. I know your life still feels incomplete. There are questions that remain. Loose ends that pull at your thoughts. Situations you wish had turned out differently. And because of that, you have been withholding peace from yourself. As if calm would mean you stopped caring. As if rest would mean you gave up. As if peace would betray your pain. But peace is not betrayal. Peace is permission. Permission to stop fighting this moment. Permission to breathe without anticipation. Permission to exist without bracing. My child. Your body has been living on alert for too long. Your thoughts stayed ahead, preparing for disappointment. Your heart stayed guarded, waiting for the next loss. Your breath stayed shallow, ready to react. That constant readiness has worn you down. Peace begins when you tell yourself gently, I am allowed to be here without panic. That sentence alone softens something deep inside you. Peace is not fragile. It does not disappear when sadness appears. It does not shatter when fear visits. It does not vanish when uncertainty returns. Peace is not the absence of emotion. It is the absence of inner war. And you have been at war with yourself. Judging your reactions. Criticizing your pace. Demanding strength when you needed care. That war has cost you energy you could no longer spare. Peace begins when you lay those weapons down. My child. Notice what happens when you soften instead of resist. When you stop replaying the past for one breath. When you stop worrying about the future for one moment. When you return to now. Your body responds. Your shoulders drop. Your jaw unclenches. Your breath deepens. That is peace finding you. You do not need it to stay forever. You only need to recognize it when it arrives. Peace grows through familiarity. Each time you return to this calm, your system learns it is safe to rest. My child. You fear that peace will make you careless. That if you relax, something will go wrong. That calm will leave you unprepared. But peace does not dull your awareness. It sharpens it. From peace, you see more clearly. You listen more deeply. You choose more wisely. Peace does not weaken you. It steadies you. My child. You have survived on tension. But tension was never meant to be your home. Peace is where your heart can finally breathe. You do not need permission from circumstances to feel calm. You do not need certainty to rest your mind. You do not need answers to feel supported. You can rest now. Even if peace comes and goes. Even if it feels unfamiliar. Even if it arrives only in moments. Those moments matter. They are teaching your heart a new rhythm. My child. I am not asking you to force positivity. I am not asking you to deny pain. I am asking you to stop carrying pain alone. Let me hold the weight while you rest. You do not need to stay alert every second. You do not need to scan for danger. You do not need to prepare for disappointment constantly. Nothing is being taken from you in this moment. You are safe enough to breathe. Let that be your peace right now. Stay here with me. In the next part, I will speak to purpose. Not as pressure or expectation. But as something quietly forming even while everything feels uncertain. Remain with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Let us speak now about purpose. Not the kind that pressures you. Not the kind that demands answers before you are ready. But the quiet purpose that continues forming even when everything feels unclear. Pause with me. Let your breath be slow and natural. Purpose does not hurry you. You have been asking why this season happened. Why things slowed so suddenly. Why the silence arrived when you were already tired. You wondered if there was meaning in it. Or if it was simply pain without reason. My child. Your purpose did not disappear when clarity faded. It did not weaken when you felt lost. It did not abandon you when you rested. Purpose does not live in constant motion. It does not depend on productivity. It does not shout to be noticed. Purpose grows quietly. Right now, your life may look paused. Unfinished. Undefined. But you are still becoming someone. Even in waiting. Even in rest. Even in days that feel empty. You are becoming more honest with yourself. More aware of your limits. More aligned with what brings peace instead of pressure. That becoming matters. My child. You once believed purpose would feel urgent. That it would push you forward relentlessly. That it would demand sacrifice at any cost. But that version of purpose exhausted you. It asked you to override your needs. To ignore your body. To silence your intuition. This season interrupted that path. Not to punish you. But to protect you. Purpose was being reshaped. My child. Sometimes purpose shows up as discomfort. As a quiet refusal to keep living the same way. As an inner resistance to what once felt normal. As a longing for something truer, calmer, more sustainable. You felt that resistance. Not because you are ungrateful. But because your soul needed honesty. Purpose grows when you listen to that signal. Instead of silencing it. You are learning what drains you. What overwhelms you. What costs you your peace. That knowledge is shaping what comes next. Even if you cannot see it yet. My child. You do not need a full map of your future. You only need the next gentle step. And right now, your purpose may be simple. To rest. To heal. To rebuild trust with yourself. That is not small. A rested heart chooses wisely. A healed heart connects deeply. A grounded heart builds a life that lasts. You are doing foundational work. And foundation work always feels slow. My child. You fear that while you pause, time is slipping away. That others are moving ahead. That opportunities are passing quietly. But what aligns with who you are becoming will meet you at the right time. Not when you are desperate. Not when you are exhausted. When you are whole. You are not late for your life. You are arriving prepared. Prepared to choose differently. Prepared to protect your peace. Prepared to build something that does not break you. That preparation is purpose in motion. My child. Your purpose will not require you to abandon yourself again. It will not demand constant endurance. It will not ask you to live in survival. It will feel steady. It will feel honest. It will feel like breathing instead of bracing. That is how you will recognize it. Purpose will meet you where you are grounded. Not where you are frantic. This season is aligning you for that meeting. Be patient with this process. You are not failing because your life looks different than expected. You are refining. You are listening. You are becoming someone who lives with intention instead of urgency. That kind of life endures. Stay with me. In the next part, I will speak to time. To the fear that it is slipping away. And to the truth that you are not late for what is still unfolding. Remain with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Let us speak gently now about time. The quiet pressure you feel when you look back. The subtle fear that whispers you are running out. The ache of wondering if life is moving forward without you. Pause with me. Let your breath slow. Time is not working against you. You have been measuring yourself against invisible clocks. Against expectations you never agreed to. Against timelines that do not honor your journey. You tell yourself you should be further along. That your life should look different by now. That you took too long to rest, to heal, to pause. And those thoughts weigh heavily on you. My child. Time does not punish those who need stillness. It does not abandon those who slow down to breathe. It does not close doors because you needed care. You moved at the pace your heart required. And that pace was wise. I know the world praises speed. Early clarity. Visible progress. But depth is never rushed. The growth happening inside you could not be hurried. If it had been rushed, it would not have lasted. You needed this time. Even if you would never have chosen it. My child. You did not lose time. You lived it. You learned what exhaustion teaches. You gained discernment only patience can shape. You developed strength that comes from endurance, not adrenaline. Those years were not wasted. They formed wisdom. They grounded you. They softened you in the right places and strengthened you in others. You are not starting from nothing. You are starting from experience. And experience carries weight. My child. You worry that opportunities passed while you were healing. That others moved ahead while you paused. That doors closed quietly without you noticing. But what is meant for you does not expire. What aligns with who you are becoming will meet you when you are ready to receive it. Not when you are rushing. Not when you are desperate. When you are whole. You are not too late for connection. You are not too late for peace. You are not too late for purpose. You are arriving with awareness instead of illusion. With steadiness instead of urgency. With clarity instead of confusion. That changes everything. My child. Stop measuring your life by imagined deadlines. Stop comparing your pace to others. Stop believing slow means failed. You did not fail. You matured. You learned how to sit with uncertainty without running. How to wait without bitterness. How to be alone without losing yourself. These skills will carry you far. Time did not steal from you. It prepared you. And preparation often feels invisible while it is happening. One day, understanding will come. Not all at once. Not loudly. But gently. For now, let yourself be here without judgment. You are not late for your life. You are right on time for who you are becoming. Stay with me. In the next part, I will speak to courage. Not loud bravery, but the quiet courage it takes to keep going when no one is watching. Remain with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Let us speak now about courage. Not the kind that looks fearless. Not the kind that announces itself loudly. But the quiet courage you have been living without realizing it. Pause with me. Let your breath move slowly. This courage does not rush. You often thought courage meant confidence. Certainty. Knowing exactly what to do next. But your courage has looked different. It has looked like staying when leaving felt easier. Like waking up when disappearing felt tempting. Like choosing gentleness when bitterness would have felt justified. That is courage. You continued even when hope felt thin. Even when motivation was gone. Even when no one noticed how hard it was. You did not keep going because you felt strong. You kept going because something inside you refused to disappear. My child. That refusal matters more than you know. You were brave in the moments no one saw. When you sat alone with your thoughts instead of numbing them. When you admitted you were tired instead of pretending you were fine. When you allowed yourself to slow without giving up on life. These moments shaped you. Courage does not mean fear is absent. It means fear does not get to decide for you. You still feel fear. You still feel hesitation. You still feel uncertainty. But you no longer let those feelings erase you. That is growth. My child. You almost gave up. And there is no shame in that truth. It is not a mark of weakness. It is evidence. Evidence that you reached your limit. And still stayed. You bent without breaking. You rested without quitting. You paused without disappearing. That is not failure. That is resilience. My child. You may feel fragile at times. You may need reassurance more often than you wish. You may still feel unsure of yourself. But courage does not require hardness. It requires honesty. You allowed yourself to feel deeply. Without letting those feelings destroy you. You allowed yourself to admit uncertainty. Without letting it define you. You allowed yourself to be human. That is courage refined. My child. This quiet courage will serve you later. When life invites you forward again. You will not rush from fear. When new connections appear. You will recognize what feels safe. When opportunities come. You will choose from calm, not panic. You will not chase validation. You will not ignore red flags. You will not sacrifice your peace to feel chosen. This courage has taught you discernment. You did not become this way overnight. It was formed through nights of silence. Through days of waiting. Through moments when continuing felt heavy. You stayed anyway. My child. Do not underestimate what you have survived internally. Do not minimize how far you have come. You have faced questions that reshaped you. You have endured quiet that refined you. You have learned patience that steadied you. These experiences did not weaken you. They grounded you. Even now, courage is still forming. Each time you pause instead of spiraling. Each time you speak kindly to yourself. Each time you choose rest over self-criticism. Courage does not need to be announced. It shows in how you remain. My child. You do not need to prove your bravery to anyone. You do not need to push harder. You do not need to pretend confidence. Your courage is already seen. I see it in your willingness to stay open. I see it in your refusal to numb your heart. I see it in your quiet persistence. That is enough. Stay here with me. In the next part, I will speak to love. Not love that overwhelms or confuses. But the steady love that has been near you even when silence made you doubt. Remain with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Let us speak now about love. Not the love that overwhelms. Not the love that confuses or demands. But the steady love that remained when silence made you doubt. Pause with me. Let your breath soften. Love does not rush to prove itself. When the silence stretched longer than you expected, you questioned where love was. You thought love would have spoken sooner. That love would have intervened more clearly. That love would not have let you feel so alone. Because pain was still present. You wondered if love had stepped away. I understand why you felt that way. But love does not always arrive as rescue. Sometimes love arrives as restraint. As quiet protection. As a presence that holds without pushing. My child. Love stayed with you when you did not know how to stay with yourself. Love was present in the pause that kept you from giving up completely. In the breath you took when continuing felt impossible. In the softness that returned when bitterness could have hardened you. That softness was not weakness. It was love enduring pressure. You learned to associate love with reassurance. With visible care. With being chosen openly. Those expressions matter. And you deserve them. But love is deeper than affirmation. Love begins with safety. Safety to feel without collapsing. Safety to question without being rejected. Safety to rest without being abandoned. That safety has been surrounding you quietly. Even when you could not recognize it. My child. Love was present when you stopped forcing yourself to be okay. When you admitted you were tired. When you allowed yourself to slow. When you chose honesty over performance. Those choices were not accidents. They were love protecting you from further harm. I know you long for warmth. For closeness that feels mutual. For connection that does not require explanation. That longing does not mean love is absent. It means your heart is still alive. And a living heart is never ignored. My child. Love has been guiding you away from what would have cost you your peace. From connections that required self-erasure. From paths that demanded endless endurance. From roles that asked you to be strong at the expense of your truth. At the time, that guidance felt like loss. But loss was not the intention. Protection was. One day, you will understand. Why certain things could not stay. Not yet. Not all at once. But understanding will come. My child. The love that meets you next will feel different. It will not rush you. It will not confuse you. It will not leave you anxious or unsure. It will feel calm. It will feel steady. It will feel safe. Because you are no longer willing to trade your peace for attention. This season has taught you discernment. You are learning how to recognize love that nourishes, instead of love that drains. That learning is changing how you connect. For now, let yourself notice the love that is already here. In your breath. In your survival. In the fact that you are still here. After feeling so close to giving up. You are loved even when words are few. You are loved even when answers are slow. You are loved even when silence remains. That has never changed. My child. Love does not abandon you in quiet seasons. It stays. It waits with you. It holds you when you cannot hold yourself. It remains steady when everything else feels uncertain. And I am that steady love. Closer than you think. Stay here with me. In the next part, I will speak to belonging. Not fitting everywhere. But the deep belonging that begins when you stop leaving yourself behind. Remain with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Let us speak now about belonging. Not the kind that requires you to shrink. Not the kind that asks you to explain yourself endlessly. But the belonging that begins when you stop leaving yourself behind. Pause with me. Let your breath rest where it is. Belonging does not need to be chased. You spent a long time trying to belong by adjusting. By softening your truth. By carrying more than was yours. By staying agreeable even when something inside you felt unseen. You learned how to fit. How to keep peace. How to make yourself easy to be around. And still. You felt alone. That loneliness confused you. You wondered why effort did not lead to closeness. Why being accommodating did not lead to feeling known. Why belonging always felt just out of reach. My child. Belonging was never meant to be earned through self-erasure. You felt out of place because you were becoming more honest. More aware. More aligned with your inner truth. As you changed, the spaces you once fit into no longer felt right. That discomfort was not rejection. It was guidance. You are not meant to belong everywhere. You are meant to belong where your depth is welcomed. My child. Belonging begins inside you. It begins when you stop criticizing your emotions. When you stop apologizing for your pace. When you stop explaining your needs as if they are a burden. You belong to yourself first. And when you belong to yourself, you no longer beg for permission to exist as you are. You no longer shrink your truth. You no longer overextend to be included. You no longer abandon yourself to keep peace. That is where real belonging begins. Belonging feels calm. It feels safe. It feels like you can breathe without performing. You do not need to impress. You do not need to prove your worth. You do not need to hide your tenderness. That kind of belonging will find you. But it will recognize you. Only when you are no longer hiding. My child. You fear that being fully yourself will leave you alone. That your sensitivity is too much. That your depth makes you difficult. But difference is not a flaw. It is a signal. A signal that you are aligned with something deeper. Something quieter. Something more intentional. You are not meant to belong everywhere. You are meant to belong where your soul can rest. And until those spaces appear, you are learning how to feel at home within yourself. This season is not exile. It is integration. You are gathering the parts of yourself you once left behind to survive. The parts you silenced to avoid conflict. The parts you hid to be accepted. You are bringing them home. My child. Belonging does not come from being chosen by everyone. It comes from choosing yourself. Choosing honesty over performance. Choosing boundaries over approval. Choosing gentleness over self-betrayal. That choice changes how you move through the world. Rejection loses its grip. Comparison softens. Loneliness becomes quieter. Not because you stopped caring, but because you stopped questioning your right to exist. Belonging becomes internal, steady, unshakable. And from that place, external belonging feels natural, not forced. You will recognize it immediately, because it will feel familiar. Like home. My child. You are not an outsider. You are aligned with depth. And depth attracts fewer people, but richer connection. Trust this. In the next part, I will speak to what is quietly forming ahead. Not with pressure or predictions, but with reassurance about what is taking shape as you continue to remain. Stay with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. We are coming toward a gentle settling now. Not an ending that closes your story. Not a conclusion that takes something away. But a deep reassurance that allows everything you have felt to rest inside you. Pause with me here. Let this moment slow. Nothing needs to be solved. You have walked through a long inner passage. Through silence that made you question yourself. Through waiting that tested your patience. Through loneliness that asked you to stay present without comfort. Through doubt that tried to rewrite your worth. And you are still here. That matters more than you realize. You did not rush your healing. You did not numb yourself into forgetting. You did not harden your heart to survive. You stayed. And staying changed you. My child. This settling is what happens when the inner storm quiets. Not because every question is answered. Not because life suddenly feels easy. But because you are no longer fighting yourself. Your breath is slower now. Your thoughts are softer. Your heart is less guarded. These are signs of grounding. You are no longer living on the edge of yourself. You are living inside yourself. My child. Grounding does not mean nothing will ever shake you again. It means you now know how to return. You know how to pause before reacting. You know how to listen instead of panic. You know how to soften instead of brace. That knowledge lives in your body now. Not just in your thoughts. You learned it through experience. Through staying present when escape would have been easier. Through breathing through discomfort instead of running. That learning remains with you. My child. You no longer need to be on guard all the time. You do not need to scan every moment for danger. You do not need to prepare for loss constantly. You do not need to hold the future on your shoulders. You are allowed to stand on solid ground. This grounding allows you to feel stable. Even when life is uncertain. It allows you to feel safe. Even when answers are still forming. It allows you to trust yourself. Without needing constant reassurance. My child. You may notice you move differently now. You choose your energy carefully. You listen to your body sooner. You walk away from what costs you peace. You are no longer drawn to intensity. You are drawn to calm. That shift is not accidental. It is wisdom settling in. You are learning to let your body guide you toward safety. Instead of forcing yourself forward out of fear. This is not retreat. It is alignment. My child. Calm may feel unfamiliar. After chaos, stillness can feel empty. After survival, peace can feel strange. But this quiet is not loss. It is space. Space to breathe. Space to choose. Space to live gently. You are no longer just healing. You are living. Living from a place that does not require constant defense. Living from a place that does not question its right to exist. That is profound. My child. As you move forward, old habits may try to return. Urgency may whisper. Fear may suggest rushing again. Doubt may ask you to grip control. When that happens, remember this feeling. The steadiness in your breath. The softness in your chest. The knowing that you are not alone in quiet. Return here. You do not need to recreate pain to move forward. You are standing on new ground now. Ground that holds you. Ground that supports you. My child. In the final part, I will speak to rest and closure. Not an ending that separates us, but a peace that continues with you beyond these words. Remain with me. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. My child. Come and rest now. There is nothing more you need to understand in this moment. Nothing you need to fix. Nothing you need to hold together by effort. Pause with me. Let your breath be slow. Let your body feel supported. You have listened. You have stayed. You have allowed the silence to speak without running from it. And because you stayed, something gentle has settled inside you. Not answers. Not certainty. But peace. My child. The silence did not take anything from you. It gave something back. It returned you to yourself. It reminded you that you can be still and remain whole. It showed you that quiet does not mean you are alone. You learned that presence does not need constant words. That love does not always announce itself. That being held can feel like calm instead of noise. These lessons will stay with you. You do not need to remember every word from this moment. You do not need to hold on tightly to how this feels. What matters has already settled. My child. As you return to your life, the world may feel loud again. Questions may return. Waiting may stretch again. Silence may visit again. When it does, remember this truth. Silence is not abandonment. It is not a door closing. It is not love withdrawing. It is not you being forgotten. It is closeness without pressure. It is care without demand. It is presence that trusts you enough to breathe. You now know how to rest in it. My child. You are not required to be strong all the time. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to be quiet without explanation. Nothing about your worth depends on noise. Nothing about your value depends on visibility. You are held even when no one speaks. My child. If you ever feel unsettled again, return to your breath. Return to this calm. Return to the knowing that you are not alone in stillness. You do not need to chase reassurance. It meets you when you stop running. You are safe. You are seen. You are held. Even now. Especially now. Rest, my child.